Life satisfaction is a very vague term, but for most people, satisfaction occurs the moment they get what they set out to get. In other words, they are satisfied when their goals are achieved, whether in careers, relationships, or even travel plans. Most of us put a checkmark on these things at some point in our life, but that doesn't mean we all live happy lives. In fact, most of us spend unfulfilled lives, and yet we don't know what we are lacking. Today I'm going to talk to you about just that. In a previous video, I explained to you that the opposite of love is fear. But what is fear? When we talk about the lowest vibrational states, such as when we talk about fear or demons, these vibrations don't have any entity of their own. In fact, fear is just the absence of love. But how can we understand something that we have not even experienced? Our lives being unfulfilled mostly comes down to the things that we could not experience in life. But the problem is, we don't even know what we are missing, and thus, there is no chance for us to ever be able to live a life that feels complete. I'll give you a personal life example. There is a woman who works for me, and whom I wasn't particularly fond of. I didn't like some of her activities and behaviors, and so, whenever she did something that irritated me, I used to lash out at her. Being into spirituality for so long, I know that if something irritates us in our external reality, there is definitely something within us that we are irritated about. And if I'm able to solve the internal issue, then the external reflection is bound to change. So when I sat for the inner revelation, I found out that when I was a small child, I did exactly what this woman is doing now. As a child, I was bubbly, ferocious, and moving around everywhere all the time. But the adult caregivers around me didn't like that behavior because they found it difficult to handle a constantly moving child. Because of this rejection, I suppressed this part of me to such an extent that even I developed irritation against this part, just like the adults around me did. I felt very fragile when I discovered this suppressed part of me. I could finally understand what experience was missing from my childhood. I did not receive love, acceptance, and approval for what I was. That was my missing experience. This woman in the external had come in my life to remind me of a rejected aspect within myself. This part of me wanted love and validation, but what it got was just being ignored and hated. Now notice that someone who is being ignored will never know that they are missing certain experience from their life until they see an external reflection of that situation. Because of this knowledge, I knew exactly what this woman needed. So instead of being irritated with her all the time, one day I decided to sit with her and I shared all my insecurities with her. When we share our vulnerabilities with each other, that is when we touch the core of each other. And that is when we feel loved. As soon as she got the opposite experience, I was actually shocked because she immediately changed her approach and her behaviors because she didn't want to hurt me now, as she knew my insecurities behind my anger. To make our lives fulfilling, we think that we want lots of money or we need to make that big travel plan. But if our hearts are devoid of the love that we all want, then no matter where we go, we'll still feel empty. Abundance, travel plans, these all are awesome things. But first we need to tune into our own feelings so much that our actions flow directly from our feelings and not to escape from them. We are living in emotional dark ages. Our parents did not know how to deal with emotions, and thus they couldn't give us the love and attention we wanted. So now it is important that we take steps for providing those missing experiences to ourselves. In the example that I gave, when I was in hatred and irritation of this woman, I used to just brush aside these feelings and didn't even recognize the connection that I was missing. But when I decided to talk to her and felt that human connection, it was literally an amazing feeling to be able to understand my colleague. Your emotions are your compass. They are always telling you what you need in your life. If you just keep taking the next step and the next step due north on your compass, that is, things that make you feel positive emotion right now, then you will end up creating those missing experiences for yourself. And you will be surprised each time at how melodious and wonderful your life can be when lived according to your own personal compass. Go in the direction of your true happiness by removing all the barriers from your mind and chasing the little joys of life one after the other. Have a good week. If you like this video, like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel for more poetry and conversations about life, truth, and existence.